All right. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Dean.
What do we got going on today?
Well, this is our 1976. Six?
Yes.
Yes, 1976 Mercury Comet. And she runs a little warm.
Yeah.
There's a couple of reasons why she runs a little warm.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why, it doesn't have a fan shroud on it. Because the fan shroud doesn't fit on this radiator. The original radiator that was in the car is kind of leaking, and this one came with the car.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah. So we swapped this one in. However, it's not exactly the same one. So we couldn't hook up the put the fan shroud on, which that helps a lot. Also, this one, it does leak a little bit. If you look down there at the bottom one, bottom hose, we'll be able to show you a little bit later. But it does leak a little bit around the fitting.
So the solution for that is this beautiful 4-core.
Look at that. Brand. So this was the original one that was in the car. And if you're in the Lethbridge area, go see Don's radiator. He knows what's up. He built us this, so he used the original tanks, but there are 4 cores in this radiator.
Oh.
Also, inside or in the cores, they have essentially like little dimples, because with radiating cooling, you want the coolant to slow down through the radiator so it has time to do that heat transfer. So we have 4 cores as opposed to 3 or 2. More cores, better cooling. Slower coolant flow, better cooling. Also, the fan shroud will fit on here. Extra cooling. We should be good to go once we swap this bad boy in there.
So the other thing that we're going to do is, with our new fresh radiator, we want fresh coolant. And one thing that we are going to do is do
10-minute rad flush.
Yes, indeed.
Not a sponsor, Clean Flow, not yet anyway.
One thing we did was
when we did swap in this radiator,
Yes.
the coolant was disgusting. So we did flush it with just water.
And part of what we had also done is we weren't getting any heat to the car. So when we did switch this in last year,
we flushed the heater core,
and
now we have heat.
Yeah.
However, it gets really hot. We get very hot heat because the car runs a little hot. So this should help clean out all the coolant passages, get junk out of there. So we will take our handy dandy turkey baster, not the one from my house. This one stays in the garage. This one never sees Thanksgiving in the house.
Never.
So we'll take some coolant out, throw this in there, run it for 10 minutes, get it nice and hot, and then we'll have a nice hot radiator
to pull out
of the car. So
excellent.
Here we go.
It is nice and green because we did replace it when we did the radiator change.
Yeah. So.
But I guess we will see what kind of deposits and junk we can get out of the engine with the radiator flush.
We're near the cores, so I don't know how much more I can actually get out, but I think that bottle shouldn't displace too much.
We have also, in preparation, emptied all of our oil containers here so that when we do drain things and flush out the block, we will have lots of containers to contain the liquid.
All right.
Very important. Always have enough containers to contain the things that you're draining before you drain them.
It's kind of frowned upon if you just throw all that stuff down the drain, down the sewer.
And it just keeps it off of your garage floor so you don't have to clean up as much. All right, take a bit more out and then we'll pour that stuff in.
Should fit now. Let's try it. All right, so Clean Flow 10-minute coolant flush, not a sponsor yet. Going in.
Just in case you don't believe we're not putting it in, we're totally putting it in.
We're totally putting it in.
Like totally, dude.
Excellent, I took enough out. Excellent, okay. Let's fire this bad boy up.
Idle it for 10 minutes, which will be very, that's not worth recording because that'll just be 10 minutes of idling. You won't see anything happening because it'll just be happening all inside the engine block, cleaning those passages. But we will show you what it looks like when we drain the nasties out.
See you in 10 minutes.
Alrighty.
All right, and it's been 10 minutes. Boom, there we go. So, time to drain the cooling system. The easiest way to do that is with the petcock on the radiator, which is that down here, which I will awkwardly open. Can you all see that? There we go.
Yep.
Right there. And there we go.
Drain the hot coolant. Ooh, you can see the steam coming off there, so you're not lying, it's hot for sure. Woo-wee.
All right.
We'll let that drain, make sure that we catch it in our bucket, keep it off of the floor, and then we will start to replace the radiator. So Daryl, what kind of setup we got here now?
Well, we've got a slightly leaky faucet, or actually it's a slightly leaky garden hose. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna
Flush the block out, right?
Flush the block out. So I got this, goes to the heater core, and then it returns back in at the water pump there. And that should flush all the junk out of the trunk.
Out of the block, rather.
Out of the block.
You can hear it draining out of the radiator. So,
I want to shine the light over here so I can see if it's clear or not.
oh sure.
That light's right at your feet.
Yep. Come around here. Can you see?
Yeah. Oh, we got coolant coming out of the top here too.
Oh yes, of course.
So that's
we do.
where I took the line off of.
Yeah, it's coming out there. Excellent. And what did we say about having enough containers on hand to not spill on the floor?
Yes.
Oh well, you got to get a little bit of stuff on the garage floor when you're doing
clean
stuff.
the floor anyway, so.
All right,
Okay.
well, we'll let that drain a little bit more, and then we will take the radiator out and replace it with a new one.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
All right.
All right, so for continuity's sake, this is day 2, different shirt, same Comet.
Yes.
We did the coolant flush last time, so we flushed her through with some high quality garden tap water. Now, time to remove the radiator. So I already got the top hose and the bottom hose off from the flush. All that remains is, if you look down there, 2 lines, those are for the tranny cooler lines. So I'll take those off, and then there's 2 bolts on this side, 2 bolts on that side, and radiator comes out.
Just like that.
Easy peasy. So we got the old radiator out here, and check this out. Look at that. There's a bunch of junk in there, so that is not good. Yeah, that definitely needs to go. So I don't know what we'll do with this radiator. We might get it cleaned out, have a spare radiator, or maybe donate it to our friendly neighborhood radiator store, and they can do something with it. I don't know. But this is going on the shelf for now. All right, so we have them both out. We're gonna compare, before we put the new one in, we're gonna compare, make sure we don't leave anything that we need on this one. So I've already swapped over the fittings. This one, the fitting was a bolt-on one. The other one, it was a hose barb, and it was just easier to just take it out. And so that one we'll reinstall later. Yeah, and then definitely you gotta watch for the clips. So this is for the fan shroud. So I swapped all those over. And make sure you take any plugs out, because that would be embarrassing. You won't have very good flow if you leave a plug in there or on the China cooler line. So yeah.
Okay.
Excited for the new radiator. This tank, you can compare them. The bottom tank's just a little bit bigger on this one. Top tank, about the same, slightly different design. But yeah, this one is the original one for the car. And the fan shroud will bolt to this one. So
let's put her on.
Here we go. All right, everything's connected back up. We went over things, made sure everything was nice and tight. We're good to go. We can start filling. So I have my Matco spill-free funnel, not a sponsor yet. This makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. How so?
Well, let me show you how it works. So there's a bunch of different fittings, and they come with, here's all the fittings right here actually, in the bag. So there's a bunch of different fittings, bunch of different cap styles, so it works on almost everything. And I already have 50-50 mix here, so we're up in Canada, so we need antifreeze in our coolant. We can't just use straight water, or else as soon as it hits below 0, you're gonna freeze your block, pop out freeze plugs. Bad things can happen. So this one's already mixed up, as I neatly labeled. And time to fill.
Hey-o.
Whoa. That's why it's nice to have the funnel. All right, I'm gonna pour it a little slower now.
Yeah.
And this will be nice when we fire it up and get it up to temperature. Then we can see when all the air bubbles are out of it, and we can add coolant easier. So. All right, so I'm out of the 50-50 stuff. I emptied up that one. So I got a fresh one, and this is from Concentrate. So 50-50, half water, half coolant. Doesn't get simpler than that, so I'm just gonna approximate when I get this in here.
Ooh, you pour like a pro.
Been doing this a while. And
those spills. Woohoo!
I'll show you a little trick to figure out the levels. Get a light. And I don't know if it'll show up on camera.
Yeah,
You can
it
compare the levels.
Oh, yes.
See, we got a little more in there. Time to add a little bit more.
You need a very bright light to do that.
Yeah, but oops.
Little spill.
LED lights are fantastic, and there you go.
Ooh, pretty close.
Pretty much the same. All right. Technically, you're supposed to use, oh, what's the word for it?
Distilled?
You're supposed to use distilled water.
Really?
You're supposed to. I prefer fresh garden hose water, personally. And then we mix. And get a little pump.
And fill that up again.
Now technically for this car, feel it zoom in over here. You do want to feel the fluid level to 0.75 to 1.5 inches below the fill cap. So I'm gonna count on there being air in the system, and we'll fill this up so there's a little bit in there, so when it burps, then we'll be all right. So.
Also, take a second to stop in between and just make sure that nothing is leaking underneath. Make sure you actually did get everything nice and tight. So
Yeah. So far, so good. All the hoses are good on there, and yeah, it's not going out just as fast as we put it in, so that's a good thing.
All right.
I'm gonna fill this up more, and then we'll fire it up. All right, so we got a nice full funnel at the front there. So now time to warm it up and let the cooling system bleed. Here we go. You can actually feel, now with the fan shroud on, you can actually feel air getting pulled through.
Oh, nice.
Not quite hot yet, but.
Coolant update. We are in traffic right now. It's very warm outside, but the engine is just chilling at 180. As you can see there.
A little bit over 180.
But that's right where we want it to be. And before, it would quite regularly climb over 200.
Oh yeah.
And it's a very hot day today. Got over 30 degrees Celsius. We'll convert that to Fahrenheit on the screen. But yeah, no, it's like in that radiator change that was in the fan shroud. That's just what we needed.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, before we would see she got up to 220 sitting in traffic, so
it was bad.
Yeah. So now it is good.
All right, well, we'll just cruise out into the evening and just.
I just wanted to show you guys we actually do drive the car too.
Oh, we totally drive it.
It doesn't just sit in the garage.
Nope. Ain't no true trailer queen either. So. Alrighty, well, like, subscribe, and if it ain't broke, go drive it.